this is a massive result for Canada for sure. I think coming under a manager like Jesse Marsh, who's just acquired this national squad, I think we played a good defensive game. We were well organized, and I could clearly see that the system that he was trying to induce in the squad against the likes of one of the best teams in the world, the French, right? I think we fared out to be better than what we were against the Netherlands, right? We defended the spaces really well. In situations, there were major phases in the game where we were defensively astute. Cornelius was covering in well for Davies. Davies was really having an intense battle out there with Ousmane Dembele. There was a certain impact that Griezmann had on that right flank too. And I think it was a hot and cold situation for us where I felt we did lose our runner in the first half on a couple of occasions. I think the more we grew and the more we progressed in the game, the more we grew into it. We matured with every passing minute into the game. I think Estacio and Kone, initially they did have a really slow start, right? I think they were finding it a little difficult to deal with the intensity that Griezmann and Dembele were bringing on the right flank because of the overload situation, right? I think Kante was adding on to that as well. But I think, yeah, I think that slight tweak of keeping a vertical and a narrow midfield, I think it worked really well for us because we could create a box-like situation where we were trapping Kante and we were trapping Kamavinga, and they were subdued to their certain positions on the pitch, right? I think even on the counters, on the break, I think Miller was a little disappointing in the first half where he had that one opportunity to pass the ball wide to Alfonso, but he chose to switch the flank. And yeah, that ended in a pretty abysmal situation because the French defenders were able to track back and they were like in a good situation to defend. The decision making on the pitch, I think it was poor, absolutely poor. I think I'm not really happy with the performance at all. Barring the defensive astuteness that we showed, the physical nature of the game was interesting for sure. I think we were really competitive out there. As a unit, we were for sure wanting to get a win. I could see the hunger, the desire, the motivation out there on the pitch. This sort of a performance is not the right metric or the right level of comparing what our team should be doing, to be honest. I think this was one game where we got lucky as well because they did get in behind our defense on multiple occasions. We cannot deny that. Giroud missed the chance. Barcola had a decent chance. Mbappe had two chances in hand. Dembele had a chance. They had chances and they had shots on target. Canada had no shots on target, right? We looked toothless up front. Jonathan David, not one of his best games. Kyle Larin, again, doing a lot of deep work, doing a lot of putting in a lot of pressure on the midfield. And he was getting in deep to retrieve the balls and to get out of those pressing traps. And he did play good. I think overall he was okay. But then on the ball, losing the ball too often, and there was no sort of attacking rhythm coming in from him individually. I think um, Theo Buchanan again provided us with that width on the right, but he has talent. He's got that quality again. Not a real sort of a enter, but then I don't know. There was something missing. I think blatantly trying to put in crosses and not really looking up and try to scan the pitch. I think against the French, against people like Theo Hernandez and like Ferland Mendy, I get it. You are definitely not at that level. So for you to scan the situation might be a little difficult, but then still you need players around you, right? The Canadians still need to create some sort of a communication level on the pitch so that they are not missing out on these silly billies here and there. They're not making those um, poor decisions on the pitch. They're not misjudging the situation, and that's just one thing which I was slightly disappointed with, that we could have put ourselves in good positions out there. We could have actually scored a goal or two, right? We could have been on target. We could have done a lot of damage to the French, but again, I think the quality, the technicality is clearly lacking up front. And this is one tweet that I really wanted to talk about. To all the haters that thought Canada will get slammed 10-0 by France, we went to Bordeaux under a new manager, held a clean sheet, held 50% possession, and arguably had the better chances. We held our own, baby. Bring on Copa America. I think, in all honesty, I think this guy doesn't really watch football. He hasn't really seen European level of the sport. I don't think he's well acclimatized to the culture and to the level of competition which we will be acquainted with on professional stages like the Copa America and the FIFA World Cup, which we are going to be hosting next year, by the way. Um, okay, you are happy. I get it. You're happy, but trying to take a dig at the French or people who thought that France are going to win this, it's stupid because the French are clear favorites, and their individual quality bypasses ours by miles, right? Just because they had a one-off, that doesn't give you the fucking bragging rights on social media. I mean, Eustachio and Kone, I think they matured really well into the game. I think they grew into the game, and that really helped us in ensuring that we are beating down Kante and Kamavinga, because I think their effect in the game was reducing with every passing minute. I think both the teams were trying to focus on the flanks, I think, because we were really narrow, they were really narrow. So there was only space on the flanks, and they were, in fact, dictating the tempo in the first half, right? In the second half, I felt it was more open, right? More end to end. Canada had decent amount of chances. Again, not putting a fucking the ball on target did not work in our favor. But still, Jesse Marsh has some plan in action, and I'm not really happy with the goalkeeper, to be honest. I think he seems unfit. I think, um, honestly, he had three tremendous saves tonight, but not enough. This is not enough, to be honest. I think if you're looking at the long term project, you need a better keeper out there. You need to be at least deploying someone who's fitter than him. There was a moment in the extended time when Mbappe made a run past the right back, and he got in behind and he took an extra touch on the ball. The ball was like nearer the keeper, and Mbappe still retrieved it before he did. On any good day, a good average professional playing keeper would retrieve that ball before Mbappe could. But in this situation, I don't know. I mean, people are really commenting that they were really happy with the goalkeeper's performance. But again, I look at the long run. He is not someone you'd be wanting to manning that post. Just because we did not concede a goal in one match, we are forgetting that Netherlands battered us with 4 goals, right? So yeah, I mean, I am painting a realistic picture out there. I don't believe in a superficial or a sugar-coated version of um, one result coming out of the bag. Um, we need to be looking at what we can do in Copa America. And I think if we cross the group stages, that's going to be a massive feat. Looking at the talent, looking at the caliber of this squad, I think we are still average. There's a mismatch of quality, there's a mismatch in judgment, there's a mismatch in many facets of our game. But yeah, if we stand together as a team, if we build in that chemistry, if we are in sync, I think we can venture out really well and much better than what we've done in the past.